Thank you everyone for joining. I really appreciate you guys coming here today. As always, this is the Graph Builders Office Hours. My name is Kevin Jones. I am a DevRel engineer working at EduNode, supporting the Graph protocol. Really excited today. As you guys all know, this is recorded, so this will be posted on YouTube. So just heads up there. On this session, we always try to bring in builders that are doing interesting things in the Graph protocol to teach you guys how to extend your skills and enhance the protocol even better. So really excited today. We have Kindnesss on, Technically Kind, aka Technically Kind. He's going to be talking about TKN, which is the token name service. And he's going to talk about how they use the graph for their token registry. So Kindnesss, without further ado, thank you so much for coming over and welcome.
Thank you all. It's a pleasure to be here. I've been a big fan of the graph for multiple market cycles at this point. The expressiveness and the ability to just query one endpoint is just amazing for builders. So we're really happy to be able to expose token data over the graph. Obviously, as builders, we'd like to access token data in our apps in an easy way. And it occurred to us that there weren't really composable, crypto native token data sources out there. There's some centralized token data providers, but we thought let's build something that really fits the conventions of crypto, including conforming to being a subname in the ENS ecosystem, as well as exposing all the token data in the ecosystem over the graph. So without further ado, just a little bit of overview on what our focus is the industry consists of many tokens and assets, and we're looking forward towards the future when we have real world assets, and basically when the entire when all the world's assets come on chain with our industry as a shelling point. We're looking forward to essentially bringing all of the trillion-dollar Wall Street assets into the same namespace as, home real estate, small businesses. We would like everyone in the world to have access to the same infrastructure as Wall Street does right now. There's no reason to have liquidity specifically for people that have gone to Ivy League schools and have the right connections. We'd like to create a global liquidity pool, and I think that's also the larger goal of crypto as well. But just imagine being able to query any asset on Earth just using one endpoint, that being the graph and TKN. That's our vision, and I think that's the vision of our industry, and we're making that happen. So yes, currently, and this goes the same for TradFi. Token data is fractured among ecosystems, among APIs, among token lists, and it's a huge pain to be able to aggregate. If you're interested in aggregating the entire industry, and even all the tokens in a single ecosystem, it's a pain to aggregate all that data. And what TKN intends to do is to expose it all in a beautiful subgraph. And I would like to cover one of the benefits of TKN specifically, which is there's often confusion about who is the rightful owner of a certain ticker symbol. Many malicious actors use that confusion to defraud individual crypto holders. With TKN, you know for sure what the right asset is, pointing to the colloquial ticker that you know and love. So a little bit of our benefit to developers there. And once again, TKN moves all data through a single beautiful composable subgraph. And so just covering the infrastructure stack a little bit, our original implementation is exposing all token data as subnames of TKN.eth. So an easy way to think of to access data is, if you're ENS users, is to type in the ticker of your of the token you're looking for data for. So let's say Aave. The easy way to access it will be to type in aave.tkn.eth, and you can resolve it via any ENS tool in any in any library. And so that gave us kind of the jump start to be accessible via the entire ecosystem without having to publish a bunch of retooling and pursue integrations. All of a sudden, we're accessible via tons of tooling, and I think we're doing the same thing now with the graph. We're actually in the process of rewriting and publishing our endpoint to accommodate about 20,000 token data points, which will be landing this week. But the ENS subgraph was the original implementation we had. So what is TKN? There's, having gone to ETH Denver and talking to users, it seemed like a reference implementation would be helpful. So we went out and built a decentralized token tracker. You can view this at tkn.xyz or tkn.eth. And it basically consumes all of the token data we have on chain and lets you perform all kinds of wonderful functions. Search, portfolio tracking, detail view, and most importantly, you can submit edit submissions to the TKN dataset. So they don't go directly into the dataset automatically. Scammers can't just change contract addresses unilaterally, but they do enter a submission queue in our process within 24 hours. So really the beautiful thing about TKN is no one is as smart as everyone. And the goal here is to let anyone submit data about any token and become the Schelling point, the Wikipedia of token data, on-chain, composable, beautiful token data. One other thing we've also published is a nice set of docs for you guys, and prominently displayed is our subgraph that we're so proud of in the docs. We also have an iOS app, so go ahead and look that up and give that a download. And this is the first token tracker, which is an institution in the crypto space that is owned by the community. So if you submit PRs, if you participate in the DAO, you can get a grant of TKN and help participate in the governance of it. We think that's a beautiful thing. So in the end, TKN is essentially a decentralized token tracker running on the graph, which is fantastic bit of functionality. And here we outline the tentative security model of our data set. We'd like to be able to allow a data submission workflow, but also allow any users to stake and verify the authenticity of this data set that later gets exposed over the subgraph. So this is what the contracts are in development right now. This is roughly what it might look like when it's published. And so I thought I would pan over and show you guys our subgraph. This is our current subgraph. It is a fork of the ENS subgraph. So you can just type in any ticker and access all kinds of beautiful data. And thanks to Mike, this is a big query. We are in the process of publishing a subgraph that's specific to our data set that indexes all of our on-chain data. By the way, TKN is entirely on chain, which we think is a beautiful thing. If it's not on chain, did it really happen? Is it kind of our take? So as you can see here, you can query USDC, get all the metadata for USDC. You can get the URL. You can see the version of data that we're on. Make sure you guys can still see my screen, right? Yes.
Yep, you're good.
You can, see the social media accounts. There's a short, helpful description for every data point that will help people learn what the token does, but it won't take up, it's not marketing copy, and it won't take up half of the screen. Another cool, there's the decentralized storage of the avatar, which you can use in your app. And there are a ton of contract addresses that point to that token. So if you would like to know the contract address on Ethereum or Solana or one of the many EVM side chains, you've got that data all here, as well as the ability to just query the entire token list by omitting a specific token. So thanks to Mike at Data Nexus, we did our first version coming up 5 months ago that we launched this. Many projects such as Block Scout have integrated our data into their Explorer, and we have a lot more in the queue. So we're really excited about our subgraph. We think the ability to access the entire ecosystem's worth of data in a subgraph, we think this will be the best data source in the industry. Where the other APIs, they require API keys, they're permissions, and they can get rugged, and they require centralized services. Subgraph allows you to compose whatever query you want on any data set in the industry, and we'll be launching 20,000 data points coming up this next week. So if anyone's interested in integrating our data, we would love to hook you up with a nice TKN grant that's interesting to you, and help you get that going, and provide support for that. So that's our little corner of the ecosystem. Hopefully you guys enjoy, and I'd love to hear some of your questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Technically Kind. There was one question. Someone was asking about Solana. I think it was in the chat here. It says, wait, Solana is up. Well, I'm guessing just the transactions. Not sure if that was a comment or...
Yes, it's transactions. So you'll be able to index all the Solana addresses. We don't have the transactions yet. Actually, that's an interesting point. Raise your hand in the comments if you think transactions would be useful to consume. That's a very interesting point you've had there. But no, for now we're just gonna index all the. I mean, there are a ton of tokens on Solana, and we'll expose them via our data set. And basically, what's coming out this week is a reverse resolver. You'll be able to, at least in ENS, you'll be able to just publish an address and then query the token that's connected to that address. So if you've got a single view, you can let's say you're showing a token address in your Explorer app or whatever it may be. You can just query that address, and TKN will show you what token is attached to that, and it'll give you all that good metadata. So you don't have to iterate and cache the entire token name service, token list, and refer that after the fact. It'll just be a simple reverse query. And the updated subgraph from Data Nexus will also allow you to do that. So we're very excited about that. Thanks. Do you look? How is token data added as a data point? Is there a submission process for all the ERC20 index, and then a ticker is assigned? How do you ensure that spoof tokens are not added? This is a great question. So the vision for TKN is to create a single global token namespace. And the main feature of a namespace is that only a single entity can control a single name to reduce, that's the whole purpose of this. So there can only be one token that has USDC. So that's a great question. And we've been operating this way, I don't know, for, the 2 years that TKN's been going, but we wanted to really expand the developer canvas for developers. And we wanted to basically index all the token data on the internet and allow the developer to query any address, regardless of whether or not it's in the canonical ticker namespace. So we want to enable the reverse lookup of any address, regardless of whether or not it's, well accepted enough to become the true colloquial owner of USDC. So we have a specific global namespace, and real assets will be able to be included in that global namespace. So the real USDC will be in that global namespace, but we will also have a reverse resolver that will enable you to look up any token. So that could include spam tokens that claim to be USDC, but we will have a flag in that metadata that says, is this in the global namespace, yes or no? And if it's not, and we'll be very clear in the docs, this is not the real USDC, and you should, tell your users, this is not the colloquial USDC. So that's kind of how we're thinking about naming it, about handling things. We'd like to have the wonderful global single namespace for all the world's assets, while having a super simple reverse resolver that you can count on to look up metadata for any token, regardless if it's in the global namespace. But the long-term vision is to have kind of the world understand that when you see a ticker symbol, it can be, you can trust that will resolve to the single global namespace. Having a protocol for tickers is something that's never been possible before. TradFi is fractionalized. They ran on COBOL, and they didn't have distributed consensus tooling to be able to really facilitate a global protocol for something like tickers. And until now, it's been like, okay, you go on Twitter, you go on a website, you click on a ticker, you don't really know where that's going to go. You don't really know. Like anyone can just kind of, anyone can just claim a ticker, and it's fun, but we'd like to really unlock tickers as a first-class protocol on the internet for all assets. And the future, having Web3 and having a distributed consensus is actually a building block that is required for that to happen. So let me actually pop open the white paper and show you guys our vision for how TKN slots into the DeFi stack here. So you've got your block space, which is critical for all this in the D-Web. Then you've got decentralized naming services, and you've got the TKN protocol built on top of that. At the top of the TKN protocol, you've got all of your assets, and then you have the tooling in DeFi, and then you have the actual user interfaces if we want to make it really easy for people to integrate token data into. Back here, yeah, great question. We're probably wondering, can you put all of your assets in a single namespace? And we have done the calculations. It turns out it's more than plausible. There are more available tickers than the number of atoms in the universe. The thing that is scarce are the short tickers. So there will be, a bonding curve, or an allocation curve, so to speak. As more and more assets get published onto, into crypto, the, I guess, fundamental requirements to use a 3 or 2 letter ticker will increase, as the allocation curve goes to the right. So, what's the criteria for this allocation curve? Probably, market cap, trading activity, developer activity, all of the above, just, metrics that show that this is a live project that people care about. And, obviously we want to make it as permissionless as possible. So there will probably be like a way you can reserve a ticker for a year before you actually launch your project to kind of de-risk that. We don't ever want there to be any cabal about who gets what ticker. So we want this to just be very permissionless and just owned by the world, and very transparent to know exactly, what requirements are for there to get what ticker. But, with the, very quickly when you add, a certain number of letters, like 7 or 8, there's just tons and tons and tons of tickers, about 8 billion 7-letter tickers. And this doesn't even include special characters or emojis. So, it's easy to just grab a ticker. This isn't, there's not going to be any real scarcity. And the beautiful thing is when you publish an asset in this global namespace, it will be accessible from any, it'll be accessible in anything that integrates ticker symbols on Earth. It could be the Bloomberg terminal. It could be, CNBC's scrolling in the ticker on the news feed. It could be, any app that integrates this protocol. So it'll be a beautiful thing to have everyone operate in the same playing field.
We have one more question here. How does it scale to the global asset market when more and more assets start coming on chain?
So our focus this quarter and this year is to really provide big incentives from our, ownership of our DAO towards people that integrate TKN data and tickers into their app. So essentially, we want this protocol to be owned by the builders that use it. So we'll be launching integration incentives. And to answer your question, I think integrations are really the key to scaling to a global market. You become that selling point. You get that prestige to know if I publish my token to TKN, it's going to appear, everywhere on Earth. It's going to appear in all these places that have integrated it. And that, that makes my asset real. That makes every person that publishes an asset want to publish it in TKN. And of course, what we're doing is trying to make the most permissionless and beautiful and decentralized and owned by everyone protocol. But how does it scale to the global asset? I mean, simply you want an unruggable endpoint. And I think the graph helps a lot with that because, the graph is a protocol that lets anyone provide signal and run nodes, as opposed to running against the Facebook API, where the API can change at any time without warning. If you're using a Web2 API, the company that's running it can get, they can forget to pay their AWS bill, or they can get censored, or they can get acquired, or they can pivot. There's a billion reasons on a long enough timeline. Every API from centralized service will go down. And we really want to help people build immortal apps that you can build at a hackathon and will still be running. You can publish it on a decentralized front end on like IPFS, and you point to a decentralized domain, and that app will still be running in 10 or 20 years without you having to pay 53 cents per month to an AWS bill and make sure your credit card doesn't expire and all of that. It's all about immortality, and I think that's what the graph really provides. I think that's what the crypto app stack provides. And yeah, I think that's how we see scaling to the global asset market. Every copy of the node, the on-chain providers will have the entire TKN data set on their chain. Actually, I think we'd like to publish it on a lot of chains, just to have a redundancy and let people code on chain against it. But basically, publishing this token data set on chain lets our subgraphs index it, and it also lets anyone query that data set without requiring a centralized service. So like you could run, essentially, if you're really paranoid, you can run your own copy of ETH mainnet and get all the TKN data. And that's what really makes there no central point of failure in this data set. Like the most crucial part is this data being on chain and being indexable for everyone. So that's how we're going to get there. And also how we're going to get there is you guys integrating this data and bringing it to the end user and helping them feel confident. Like if I look up hashtag uni, I know where that's going. Everyone will point to the same data source. It'll be in the Bloomberg terminal, it'll be on television. It'll be like we're going to do something that hasn't existed in the world before. We're going to make tickers a first-class protocol. And please, if you're building something, shoot me a DM. We would love to, support you and help you get a seat at the table and help us govern this thing and get more owners. The more owners we have for the TKN DAO, the more decentralized it is. So we would like to, bring the DAO to evaluation that kind of secures the importance of that asset, and bring a crucial number of holders and participants, as well as just bringing it to a lot of chains. I think there's like a little prestige that if you start a chain and you have Chainlink oracles on your chain, you kind of have a little prestige. Like you've got you've got Gnosis safe on your chain, and you've got Uniswap official deployments, and you've got Chainlink oracles. I think in time, if you've got the asset registry that is TKN on your chain for developers to code against, that will also bring a level of prestige. I'd love to talk a little bit more about the graph and the intricacies and the kind of the future of subgraphs.
Yeah, stage is yours, by the way. So if you want to talk more about anything, feel free.
I've got another question. How did you come about getting hooked up with the Builders DAO and building out your first subgraph? This is like how did mom and dad meet? Yeah. When we started out, we just had the ENS interface, and I was like this. I've always been a fan of the graph, and I think ENS uses the graph in their reference app, and I was like, this is the perfect way to expose data to developers. So I hopped in the graph Discord, and I was like, saying that it was plausible if we could just like fork the ENS subgraph and expose our data over it, which that Nexus popped in, and they were like, yeah, we'd like to help out, and they ended up helping and publishing our first subgraph, which I was like blown away. And I guess it's a testament to crypto and these guys that they just hopped in and they like worked on and published this wonderful subgraph with us. And we were like bootstrapping at the time, so it was really amazing, a really great leg up. So thank you guys. It was wonderful to get that gift from the ecosystem. Can't recognize these guys enough, and I think they're going to be a big part of the TKN governance going forward. And I've just been thinking about what's the future of the subgraph. Obviously, with our expanded data set, you'll be able to query any piece of token data. You'll be able to query by address or by ticker. You'll be able to query by query by the website pointed to and by the token, and like look up the token metadata by the website. All kinds of things. DWeb. But there's one point that we would really like to implement, which is given a token address, return all of the token balances for that address. And so I've been, talking with some people in the ecosystem about, I guess, substreams. And I'd really like to, learn from you guys about the plausibility and how far along substreams are to support essentially a token data, a token wallet lookup endpoint from token addresses. If anyone would like to hop on and kind of give us, a snapshot of where the ecosystem is for that. Also, I'd like to talk to some developers about, what your requirements are for token data. What kind of endpoints what kind of project are you working on, and how can the token subgraph benefit your project?
Yeah, we have a lot of really good substreams developers. One that comes to mind is Blind Nabbler. He's on often. I don't know if you've met him. He's actually really good. He's part of the Builders DAO. So yeah, please reach out to the Data Nexus guys, because they can probably get you connected with him. He's really good with substreams. And was there anything else you wanted to show off for the TKN, like any of the subgraph stuff or anything else?
Yeah, if you're in this call, please DM us and we'll hook you up with the TKN airdrop, which has since been closed. And since we're developing airdrop 2, but everyone on this call, go ahead and DM me and I'll kind of get you manually set up. Pretty proud of our little.
Yeah, I actually just tried to claim, but it wouldn't work. Like, oh, where's my TKN?
Yeah, just DM me and you should be good to go. This isn't yeah, the airdrop 1 is closed, but everyone here is bona fide participants. So go ahead and give us the DM and we'll hook you guys up. We want you guys, and the more people that own this protocol and participate, the more valuable we get. So we're gung-ho on that.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that was really awesome, man. I appreciate the demo and the overview. Was there anything else you wanted to cover, or?
I think that about covers it. If anyone wants to make a Dune dashboard for us, it'd be cool. But I think that about covers it. Go ahead and read the white paper. Check out the app, download it, and make a little portfolio. Also, if you're a data person, please submit data. That helps improve our protocol. And there's a little you can go in here and just hit edit data. So you can use the GUI, but you can also programmatically submit JSON of the data you see. So if you'd like to get out there and parse data sources and earn TKN and become part of the project long term, go ahead and please submit data. If it's just a token that you see something that you'd like to change, if it's your token, you'd like to submit it, or you'd like to change the logo, please hop in. Please make this the best and most open subgraph and data source in the industry. And with that, it's been awesome substreams repo. Okay, I'll check that out. With that, it's been great to present to you guys, and hopefully we get an integration or two out of the crowd, and let's help us get on to Bloomberg and CNBC and help people understand how crypto is really creating the Schelling point for the entire world to increase economic liberty.
Yes, that's what we all want, right? That is great. Thank you so much. That was a really good presentation. We showed it. Thank you, guys. All right. Does anyone else have anything else they wanted to talk about or bring up? Lots of good links in the chat. Make sure you guys check those out. As always, this will be on YouTube. We'll get it uploaded shortly. And yeah, you can expect to have this replay. And then also, I think I mentioned it last week, but there's lots of ways for you guys to connect. One of the things we just recently launched is a subreddit called Graph Builder. So please check that out if you guys are on Reddit. We're going to be starting posting a lot of links there, and we want to use that as a way to get some technical content out about the graph to a community. So thank you guys. And yeah, appreciate all you guys. Hope you guys have a good rest of the day or night, wherever you are. And thank you so much. Oh, I see a question popped up. What else is wanted during the Graph Builders office hours? Yeah, this is great. Yeah, you can, Mike, you can post the links. Just send me your username and I can make sure you're like an authorized user to be able to post. But yes, if anyone has ideas on what you guys would like to see on this session that we do, you know, we've been trying to get core developers to come on here. We've been trying to get protocols that are using the graph. If there's any specific topics that you guys have that you guys would like to see, please let us know. Yeah, you can do that by sending it here in the chat. You can also post on the Reddit. You can DM me or any of the other people in the group, either Mike from Data Nexus or Derek from Data Nexus, and please just let us know. But yeah, we're excited for this. This has been like, I think it's the 24th one we've done, which is really awesome. So yeah, thank you everyone for being here every week, and yeah, really excited to see this grow. So thank you. And I'll catch you guys next week.